My dramatic story begins here. Before the graduation defense, I discovered that my girlfriend, who had been with me for 4 years, had been quietly supporting a poor student. The monthly living expenses she saved all went into that boy's pocket. I held the phone confronting her. She stayed silent the whole night. Finally, she said just one thing: "I care for him, okay?" For years together couldn't compare to a single word of her pity. I wasn't willing to let everything shatter like that, wiping away my tears. I stood shoulder to shoulder with her in the line for graduation photos. But at that moment, her roommate Jane Cloud rushed over. "Michael Jade, I heard you're getting engaged to a senior after graduation." He took sleeping pills in the dorm. The diploma in Jane Cloud's hand fell to the ground. She dashed out like a bolt of lightning. I gripped the diploma tightly, shouting after her, "If you dare leave today, I'll take it as you leaving to marry him." Her steps faltered. Then, without hesitation, she disappeared into the crowd. I stood frozen in place. The tassel on my graduation cap swayed before my eyes. Around me, the noise was deafening. There was laughter from classmates and shouts echoing. The principal, holding a microphone on stage, looked at me, then at Jane Wisdom running away. Not knowing what to say, Jane Wisdom's parents, pale-faced, stepped forward and grabbed my hand. They understood immediately. "Let me drag that wretched girl back. She's gone too far." I shook my head. I slowly rolled up the diploma in my hand. "Uncle," and let her go. My parents' faces grew even grimmer. My father's face turned white with rage. My mother's tears streamed down. What is going on? Graduation ceremony, engagement party. Where does she leave the face of our Stone family? I stepped down from the stage, supporting my mother's our mom, dad. "I'll take you home." The scene was chaotic. Jane Cloud, Jane Wisdom's roommate, rushed over, rubbing her hands, her face full of guilt. "Sister-in-law, I'm sorry, it's an emergency with Junior Michael Jade." I looked at her, saying nothing. Jane Cloud had lived with Jane Wisdom for 4 years. She also knew Michael Jade. In their eyes, Michael Jade was someone who needed protection, but a truly fragile person wouldn't choose someone else's most important day to take pills. I held the diploma, turned and left the place meant for celebration. The phone in my pocket buzzed over and over. I didn't pick up. I knew it was Jane Wisdom. She would explain. She would apologize. She would tell me Michael Jade was in critical condition. She couldn't not go. We'd been together for 4 years. I knew her too well. She was responsible, especially toward those she thought shed her. In our sophomore year, during discussions about scholarships for poor students, Jane Wisdom, as student council president, publicly questioned Michael Jade's proof of need. She found some inconsistencies. Later, she learned it was a misunderstanding. Michael Jade just hadn't filled out the forms clearly. That incident made him the laughingstock of the department. It became Jane Wisdom's lingering guilt. That guilt haunted her for 2 years. Before I thought she was right to help Michael Jade, she made a mistake, so she should make up for it. Until today, I realized some reparations go beyond boundaries. Back at the dorm, I took off the graduation gown, changed into my own clothes. I knew Michael Jade, after taking the pills, was rushed to the hospital, to the school hospital, the closest one. I grabbed my keys and stepped out. I went to the emergency ward of the school hospital. Jane Wisdom was, as expected, sitting by the bed. Michael Jade lay there, an IV drip in his hand, his face devoid of color, eyes tightly shut, tears still clinging to his lashes. Jane Wisdom held his other hand, her brows tightly knitted. I walked over. Jane Wisdom saw me and stood up abruptly, her eyes full of guilt. "Swan song. You're here. I'm sorry. How is he today?" I cut her off. Looking at Michael Jade on the bed, the doctor said he was saved in time. No danger to his life. Just physically weak, emotionally unstable. I nodded. "That's good." I turned to leave. Jane Wisdom grabbed my wrist. "Swan song. Don't be mad. This is my fault after all. I couldn't abandon him. He's just a kid with a tough family background. So pitiful." I pulled my hand away. "Jane Wisdom, I'm not angry. I just feel that our graduation ceremony wasn't as important as a junior you've known for 2 years." "That's not true, Swan song. In my heart, you're always the most important." But at that moment, he almost died. The doctor said he wouldn't die. I looked at her, my voice calm. Jane Wisdom's lips trembled. She couldn't speak. At that moment, Michael Jade woke up. Seeing me, tears streamed down his face. Sister, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I didn't mean to. I just couldn't control myself. He sobbed, his body trembling. I saw your graduation ceremony. I thought of myself, I couldn't hold back. I'm sorry I ruined your graduation. Jane Wisdom hurried to sit by the bed, softly comforting. It's okay now. It's over, don't think too much. You need to rest now. She looked at me, her eyes carrying a hint of reproach. He's like this. Can't you show a little compassion? I said nothing, turned and walked away. Outside the hospital gate, the summer wind was scorching, blowing on my face, stifling. Only then did I realize my hands were trembling. The next day, Jane Wisdom brought breakfast waiting under my dorm. I opened the gate, but didn't let her come up. She handed me the breakfast, smiling to please me. Swan song. On behalf of the junior, I apologize. Yesterday he was emotional, not intentional. Doesn't he have a mouth? Does he need you to apologize for him? Jane Wisdom's face stiffened. He's still weak. Swan song, let's not talk about him, let's talk about us. I looked at her. The graduation ceremony was ruined. The engagement party became a joke. How do you plan to explain to our relatives and friends? She was silent for a moment. When this period passes, when things settle, we'll invite everyone for a private dinner. I gave a bitter laugh. You think something this big can be fixed with a meal? She said, what else can we do? It's already happened. She sounded a bit frustrated. Swan song, I know you feel wronged, but Michael Jade comes from a poor family. He almost died. Can't you, out of pity, show a little more understanding? Pity again. I took the breakfast and set it on the steps beside me. I understand you can go. He's alone in the hospital. He needs someone to care for him. Jane Wisdom visibly relaxed, thinking I've given in. I knew you're the kindest. Don't worry, once he's discharged and stable, I'll make it up to you properly. She turned and left. I watched her back, picked up the breakfast from the steps, and threw it into the nearby trash can. Then I went to the administrative building to complete my school departure procedures. Passing by the school hospital, as if driven by some impulse, I walked in. I wanted to see how Michael Jade was doing. He was leaning against the headboard, looking at his phone, chatting and laughing with the patient next to him, looking quite spirited. Seeing me enter, the smile on his face froze, then quickly shifted to a pitiful expression. Sister Swan song, you came? I nodded yes. To check on you. I walked over, picked up the medical chart at the head of his bed, glanced through it briefly. You're recovering well. Probably can be discharged tomorrow. Yeah, he lowered his head, his voice soft. Thank you for coming to see me. No need to thank me, just don't do anything foolish again. Your life is your own. He bit his lip. His eyes reddened. I understand, sister, but sometimes I really can't bear it. I didn't respond, put the chart down, and left the room. That afternoon, I went to Little Rain, an intern friend at the school hospital. Little Rain, that student who took pills yesterday. Michael J, do you remember him? Little Rain thought for a moment. Oh, him, I remember. When he was brought in, a beautiful girl carried him, worried to death, her face pale. How much did he take? Ha, don't get me started. Little Rain sneered. Just a few vitamins mixed with 2 sleeping pills from Huanosher. That dose wouldn't even match a normal bedtime dose. It just looked scary. He was crying and making a scene when he arrived. The doctors and nurses in our department all knew. This kind was just acting for someone else. No way he'd die. My heart sank. That evening, Jane Wisdom came to invite me to dinner, saying it was to celebrate my successful graduate school admission. She seemed in a good mood. Said Michael Jade was discharged today and had been settled properly. I booked that Western restaurant you love. In the car, she kept trying to hold my hand. I avoided her. Swan song, if made you feel wrong lately. I know I owe you a graduation ceremony. Wait for me. I'll make it up with a grand one. I looked out the window at the passing streets, saying nothing. Jane Wisdom, how much money do you give Michael Jade each month? I asked suddenly, and she froze. Not much. Just half of my living expenses. Jane Wisdom's family was well off. Her parents gave her a generous allowance. Half of that wasn't a small amount. Didn't he apply for school scholarships? He did, but it wasn't enough, you know. He's very proud too embarrassed to ask his family for more, so I helped. So you just keep supporting him forever. My voice grew cold. Jane Wisdom frowned. Her tone also a bit annoyed Swan Song. What do you mean by that? Supporting him? This is me making up for my mistake. Back then, I nearly ruined his reputation, helping him not worrying about money for the rest of his life. Is that wrong? I said nothing. The air in the car turned icy. At the restaurant, we sat across from each other silent. The meal passed in silence. On the way back, Jane Wisdom's phone rang. It was Michael Jade. She answered. Her voice instantly softened. What's wrong? Feeling unwell. Dizzy again. Don't be scared, don't move around. I'll come check on you right away. She hung up, giving me an awkward smile. Swan Song, I'll drop you off at the dorm first. Then I need to check on Michael Jade. He's alone. Scared, timid. I looked at her quietly. Jane Wisdom. What is he to you? The smile on her face froze. He's my junior. So you're responsible for him for life, even fixing his fuse. Swan Song. She was a bit angry. Why are you being so unreasonable? He just got out of the hospital alone, in a dark dorm. Can I just ignore him? He could ask the dorm manager, or a classmate. She said it's not the same. He doesn't trust others. I laughed. Right, of course. He only trusts you. I reached to open the car door. You don't need to drive me back. I'll walk. Go, your junior is waiting. I got out, slamming the door shut. Jane Wisdom's car paused behind me for a moment, then drove off toward Michael Jade's dorm. After that, we entered a Cold War. Jane Wisdom didn't contact me. One didn't contact her either. To prepare for graduate school, we had rented a house off campus beforehand, just waiting for graduation to move in. I went to that new house alone. The house was spacious but empty. All the furniture was chosen together. I sat on the sofa for a long time. A week later, Jane Wisdom called. Her voice sounded tired. Swan Song. Let's talk. We met at the new house. She had lost weight, dark circles under her eyes. Swan Song, I'm sorry. I haven't been good to you lately. She spoke first. With Michael Jade, his emotions have been unstable. I had to spend more time with him. I didn't say anything, just looked at her, waiting for her to continue. I know you must feel bad. But Swan Song, we've been together for 4 years, don't you know me? With Michael Jade, it's really just guilt and responsibility. Nothing else. I said I understand. She visibly relaxed. I knew you'd understand me best. She stepped forward. Wanting to hug me, I stepped back, avoiding her. Jane Wisdom, I came today to tell you, I don't want this house anymore. She froze. Her arm hung in midair. What did you say? This house we rented together. The contract is in my name. I paid the deposit. Now I don't want it. Why, Swan Song? This is our house. She panicked. If one day Michael Jade's dorm fuse blows again, or his pipes clog, you'd think he needs a home more than I do. Jane Wisdom's face changed. Swan Song, must you talk like that? Must you mock me? I said it's not like that. Helping him is just a small thing. Running out of our graduation in front of thousands is this small thing. Giving him half your living expenses every month is this small thing. Jane Wisdom, you have too many small things. She opened her mouth, unable to speak. Finally, she took a deep breath. Fine. Swan Song, if that's how you think, I'll show you. She looked me in the eye, speaking each word clearly. In a few days, I'll let Michael Jade move in. He'll live with me. She raised her voice, as if convincingly, and herself. He's alone in the dorm. I'm not at ease. He keeps getting into trouble. If he's right in front of us, I can keep an eye on him. That's safer, isn't it? I looked at her, like looking at a stranger. Jane Wisdom, you're insane. I'm not insane. I'm very clear-headed. I can't let anything else happen to him. This is my responsibility. Every word she said was clear. I suddenly felt exhausted. A deep weariness. I said let him move in. Jane Wisdom probably didn't expect I'd agree so easily. She was stunned. I took the keys from my bag, placed them on the coffee table. Here is the key, back to you. From now on, this is your house with your junior. I wish you both a happy life. I stood up, walked out of the house I'd once been full of hope for. The moment I closed the door, I seemed to hear her smash something inside. My tears finally fell. For years gone just like that. Jane Wisdom and I broke up. I didn't tell anyone. My parents didn't know I'd moved back to the dorm. Jane Wisdom didn't come looking for me. Maybe she was busy settling her junior. In her eyes, perhaps I was just sulking. A few days and I'd get over it. Time passed, studies continued, but the campus was only so big. You'd see each other whether you looked up or down. I kept running into them. Jane Wisdom with Michael Jade. Today at the library looking for materials. Tomorrow at the cafeteria saving seats. Michael Jade practically clung to Jane Wisdom, and she let him. When we crossed paths, Jane Wisdom's eyes dodged. Her lips moved, but she said nothing. Finally, her brows furrowed and she turned away. Michael Jade always kept his head down, looking wronged. This semester, our law department had a new guest lecturer named Lily Grace, just returned from a top law firm abroad. Very young that day, Jane Wisdom brought Michael Jade to audit Lily Grace's class. In the previous session, Lily Grace left a question, asking everyone to discuss issues related to compensation for emotional distress in civil liability. Michael Jade raised his hand, stood up, his voice trembling. Teacher, I think the guilty party must compensate. Compensate forever. Compensate until the victim is healed. This responsibility has no limit. Lily Grace pushed up her glasses. Her gaze lingered beside Michael Jade. She said, the student, the law emphasizes balance. Rights and obligations must be equitable. The compensation we pursue is reasonable compensation. What you described isn't compensation. It's emotional coercion. If guilt overrides the law, what's the point of the law? Michael Jade froze. Jane Wisdom's face changed too. She stood up abruptly. Teacher, what do you mean by that? Lily Grace spoke. It means this student's perspective lacks the rationality of a law student. It's an excuse for certain behaviors. Lily Grace looked at her student. What department are you from? Her tone suddenly shifted, not giving Jane Wisdom a chance to speak. Her gaze passed over her, landing on me. Swan song, you answer. On determining liability and the scope of compensation for this case. Did Jane Wisdom take Michael Jade and leave? Before leaving, she glanced at me. Her eyes seemed to blame me for not speaking up for him. After class, one packed my things in the hallway. Lily Grace approached. Your girlfriend? Ex-girlfriend. I didn't look up. Lily Grace nodded. Didn't ask more. After that day, I applied to be an assistant for Lily Grace's research project. She agreed. The work was busy and exhausting, requiring vast amounts of case law and document research daily, but it kept me from having time to think about that mess. My parents noticed I never mentioned the engagement with Jane Wisdom. They got anxious. I knew I couldn't hide it, so I told them the truth. We broke up. My mother was so angry she nearly fainted. Why? What happened? Did that wretched girl bully you? I didn't mention Michael Jade. I didn't want them to share my humiliation. Just said our views didn't align and I was tired. My father was silent for a long time. Finally, he came over and patted my shoulder. If you're done, you're done. My daughter is so outstanding, no need to worry about finding a match. Jane Wisdom's parents also came to me, their eyes red looking. Much older. Swan song. Jane Wisdom wronged you. We failed to raise our daughter well. We apologize on her behalf, uncle, and it's not your fault. It's between me and her. That Michael Jade. Jane Wisdom's mother hesitated, her face full of worrying. We know everything. That wretched Jane Wisdom brought him to live with her. We went and argued, scolded her, hit her. That wretched girl was like she was possessed. Said we don't understand her. Said we're cold-blooded and don't interfere. Let her be. I said everyone must take responsibility for their choices. Jane Wisdom chose her so-called responsibility. She must bear the consequences. I started deliberately avoiding Jane Wisdom and Michael Jade. I poured all my time and energy into Lily Grace's project. Our team went to a remote rural area abroad. to conduct a social survey on local customary law. It lasted half a month. The night before departure, my high school classmates held a reunion. I attended. There was a guy named First River, also a student at our school, but studying in another province not close. He saw me very surprised. Swan song. You're here too. Had some drinks. Talked a ton. Hey, let me tell you some gossip. You know Michael Jade at your school? That poor student. My heart tightened. I know. Hey, he's from my hometown. We went to high school together. His family isn't poor at all. His dad's a contractor, owns several houses in the county. He loves playing the savior, pretending to be pitiful to win people over. My hand holding the glass froze. What did you say? It's true, I swear. His brother just got a new car, a Prado 500,000. Posted it on social media, then deleted it for some reason. He faked being poor to scam your school's scholarship. This spread all over our hometown group. Everyone just scorns him. Too lazy to expose him. My blood felt like it froze. A rich guy pretending to be poor. A girl consumed by guilt to the point of losing reason. What a perfect match. I took out my phone, found Michael Jade's WeChat. His moments were set to show only 3 days. Nothing there. I handed my phone to First River. Can you find his brother's moments? First River fiddled with my phone for a bit. Look, this is the car. Bought last month. In the photo, a man about my age leaned against a black SUV, smiling brightly. Behind him was a beautifully decorated 2-story house. I saved the photo. The reunion ended. I got a message from Jane Wisdom. The first time she reached out after over a month of Cold War. Swan song. Michael Jade's birthday is coming. He really likes that watch you wore. Can you tell me where to buy it? I looked at the message and laughed. I replied, sure. Meet me at the south gate. I'll give it to you. I printed the photo of the car, put it in an envelope, and took the expensive watch my dad gave me, put it in another envelope. I waited at the south gate. Jane Wisdom came. She looked more haggard than last time. Swan song. She saw me. A spark lit up in her eyes. I handed her the 2 envelopes. Here, one's the authentic watch my dad gave me. Very expensive, the other's a fake. Bought from a street stall. $500. Jane Wisdom was stunned. Completely confused. You choose one. For your junior Michael Jade. She looked at me. Eyes full of doubt. You choose. See if my junior is worth the real one. Or just the fake. I shoved the envelopes into her hands. Turned and walked away. She didn't follow. The next day, I joined Lily Grace's team on a high-speed train for the survey. I thought the matter was over. Until a week later, I got a call from Jane Cloud, her voice trembling, with sob. Sister-in-law swan song. Come back quick. Jane Wisdom's in trouble. My heart sank. What happened to her? Her and Michael Jade both in trouble. Outside the high-speed train station, I saw Lily Grace waiting to pick me up. She was calm. I heard, get in, I'll take you. On the way to the hospital. From Jane Cloud's halting words, I pieced together what happened. That day, Jane Wisdom took the 2 envelopes back. I don't know what she chose, but she and Michael Jade had a huge fight. Michael Jade got extremely emotional, crying and yelling that I was humiliating him, saying Jane Wisdom never trusted him from the start. He ran out sobbing. Jane Wisdom drove after him on a winding mountain road. For some reason, they argued fiercely in the car. Michael Jade lost control, grabbed the steering wheel from Jane Wisdom. The car veered, crashed into the guardrail, and rolled down the hillside. The operating room light stayed on all night. As dawn approached, a doctor came out exhausted. Who's the patient's family? Jane Wisdom's parents rushed forward. Doctor, how's my daughter? How is she? Patient Jane Wisdom has severe foot fractures, significant central nervous system damage. We did our best, but she may not be able to use her hands anymore. Jane Wisdom's mother's legs gave out. She collapsed on the spot. I leaned against the wall to keep from falling. Jane Wisdom was a genius in the combined Bachelor Master Doc program in medicine. Her dream was to become a top surgeon. Her hands were her life. What about the boy? I asked, voice trembling. The doctor glanced at me. Him, Michael Jade, mild concussion. Some superficial wounds, no. Danger! The doctor paused, then added, "Oh right. The police found a bank card in his belongings. Balance of 70,000. Doesn't seem like a poor student like his medical file says." Jane Wisdom woke up. She lay in the hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, her arm in a cast, carefully placed on a pillow. I pushed the door open. She saw me, her eyes brightened briefly, then dimmed. Swan song. Her voice was hoarse. I placed some academic books for the graduate exam on her bedside table. "This is the department's decision. Your academic record will be preserved, but your hands." She closed her eyes, saying nothing. The cause of the accident the police investigated clearly. Michael Jade grabbed the wheel bearing primary responsibility. She still said nothing. Michael Jade was in the next room. His parents had arrived, driving a luxury car, wearing designer clothes. Finally, she reacted, slowly turning to look at me. "So it was all a lie." I spoke calmly. A tear rolled from Jane Wisdom's eye. "Swan song. I'm sorry." I looked at her. "I'm not the one you wronged, but yourself, and the parents who worked hard to raise you. Yourself, and the white coat you never got to wear." I turned to leave. "Don't go," she suddenly called out, her voice pleading. "Swan song, can't you give me another chance?" I stopped but didn't turn back. Jane Wisdom, the moment you ran from our graduation for him, we had no more chances. Is it because of Michael Jade? He deceived me. I'm a complete fool, she shouted, agitated. "It's not because of him." I said, "It's because of you. Choosing him over and over. You left me for him, abandoned our graduation. You gave up our future home for him. You yelled at me for him, fought coldly with me. And now for him, you destroyed your own future." Jane Wisdom, what's so great about him that you'd go this far? She fell silent. After a long time, I heard her voice tinged with tears. "I don't know. I really don't know. I just felt I owed him. I had to repay." "You owe him, but you shouldn't have made me pay the price." I opened the door and walked out. Lily Grace was outside. She handed me a bottle of warm water. "Heard it all." She nodded. "A woman like that isn't worth it." I unscrewed the cap, took a sip. The warm liquid flowed into my stomach, easing some of the cold. I knew her hand injury, even if it healed, would leave serious after effects. Delicate procedures like surgery she'd never be able to do again. My hand paused. Lily Grace looked at me. "Are you heartbroken?" I shook my head. "No. I just thought, she'll never hold a scalpel again." Michael Jade was expelled from school for scholarship fraud and causing a serious traffic accident. Multiple charges combined. Prison awaited him. His parents wanted to settle with money, but Jane Wisdom's parents firmly refused. Jane Wisdom's father looked at them, saying, "Only my daughter's hands. No amount of money can buy back." Jane Wisdom started rehabilitation, every day in pain, sweating, but she didn't make a sound. Jane Cloud came to me once. "Swan song, I know I shouldn't come to you, but Swan song, she's really miserable now." The department decided. She's been transferred to public health. Her parents aren't paying much attention. Michael Jade's case is still in court. She doesn't say anything. "I'm afraid she'll do something rash." "What do you want me to do?" "Care for her. Comfort her. Tell her everything will be okay." Jane Cloud lowered her head. "I just thought you were together for 4 years. Such deep feelings." Jane Cloud, for years of feelings. The moment she ran from our graduation for another man, went to zero. I didn't see Jane Wisdom again. On the day she was discharged, her parents came to pick her up. She started practicing writing with her left hand. Unfamiliar, her handwriting shaky. We stood across from each other in the noisy hospital hallway, exchanged a distant glance. She was much thinner, her eyes empty, looking 10 years older. I turned, walked into the elevator with Lily Grace. Life seemed to return to calm. Lily Grace started pursuing me. She brought me breakfast every day, quietly waited when I worked late, invited me to new movie releases. I didn't refuse, but didn't immediately agree either. My mother was thrilled. She thought Lily was perfect. Swan song, Lily is so great, young, talented, and so composed. You must seize this. I just smiled, didn't speak. I seem to have lost the ability to love someone else. Half a year later, I saw Jane Wisdom at the supermarket. She held a shopping basket with her left hand, slowly picking items, her movements sluggish. Her injured wrist hung awkwardly. Seeing me, she froze, then gave a smile uglier than crying. Swan song, long time no see. We stood across a row of shelves, relatively speechless. Are you doing okay? She spoke first. Fine. That's good. She lifted her basket, slowly passed by me, her back lonely and worn. That evening I told Lily Grace about seeing Jane Wisdom at the supermarket. She held my hand. It's over. Yeah. Swan song. She looked at me seriously. I know you have a knot in your heart. It's okay. I'm willing to wait until you're ready. Well, move forward together. I looked at her, my eyes suddenly warm. Lily Grace, this isn't fair to you. Love isn't about fairness. It's about willingness. That night I agreed. We officially got together. Days passed calmly but steadily. Lily Grace was busy. So was I. But we made time for each other. She remembered all my preferences, brought me late-night snacks when I wrote papers past midnight. I could prepare a nice dinner to celebrate her winning a case. Our love wasn't intense, but like a steady stream. I thought Jane Wisdom's name would gradually, completely fade from my life, until one day I got her wedding invitation. The groom I didn't know, a classmate from her public health program, an ordinary-looking guy. The wedding was at a very ordinary hotel. I didn't go. Lily Grace sent a gift of money on my behalf. Later, Jane Cloud told me, at the wedding, Jane Wisdom didn't smile once. When toasting, some guests shouted for her to say something. She held the microphone silent for a long time, finally saying thank you for marrying me. After that, I graduated from grad school, smoothly joined Lily Grace's law firm. We became colleagues, then got engaged, married. Everything flowed naturally. My parents were delighted. Jane Wisdom's parents sent a valuable wedding gift through someone. They said they'd let me down for 4 years. Always felt guilty. I said it was all in the past. Lily Grace and I, in our 2nd year of marriage, had a child, a lovely daughter. Her eyes like lilies, her nose like mine. Lily Grace was a good wife, a good mother. She said she didn't want to miss any moment of our daughter's growth. My life was happy like a dream. News of Jane Wisdom still came from Jane Cloud. We hadn't met in years. At a rare alumni reunion, he said Jane Wisdom returned to her hometown after graduation, took an administrative job at a community hospital. The job was easy, didn't require her hands. She and her husband had a son. Days passed quietly, neither good nor bad. Her disabled arm still ached faintly on rainy days. She never picked up a pen again, nor stepped into an operating room. She was once such a genius, the brightest in the crowd, now the most ordinary. Jane Cloud sighed, her life is ruined. I couldn't speak. Michael Jade was convicted of fraud and causing a serious traffic accident. Multiple charges combined. Prison awaited him. Jane Wisdom didn't break the law, but sentenced herself to a lifelong prison, forever trapped in that past. Once, Lily Grace and I took our daughter to the park. Unexpectedly saw a familiar face, sitting alone on a bench, watching others' kites in the sky. Her hair streaked with gray, her back worn and weary. Lily Grace followed my gaze. It's her. I nodded. Our daughter's balloon floated away. She burst into tears. I snapped back, bending to comfort her. Lily Grace lifted her off the ground, holding her high. Don't cry, come on. Mom will take you to pick a new balloon, okay? Our daughter stopped crying, smiled. The 3 of us, laughing, walked and talked. I didn't look back, but I knew the person on the bench was still watching us. Her gaze followed us for a long time, until we turned the corner and saw nothing more. Like that year, when I watched her back leave without hesitation. We both stood at life's crossroads. She chose her sense of duty. One chose myself. Now everything is settled. We've walked completely different paths. And all of this is just, each with our choices, each bearing our consequences. Nothing more.